Hello, everyone. Welcome to the infamous Retracto Wall of Shame. Today's Retracto goes to MSNBC. That's right, an on-air segment. MSNBC, Ari Melber. You may recognize him. He's the host on MSNBC. He was forced to correct something he said on the air that was not true. He played a segment which characterized me and quoted someone characterizing me as a, quote, man who pled guilty in a money laundering scheme. He clearly made an error. It was a horrible use of editorial and journalistic judgment. And now Ari Melber and MSNBC were forced to tweet out a correction. There's the correction. I'll read it for you. Here we go. Cue the Retracto theme song.
Retracto, the correction alpaca. Retracto, he's coming at ya.
Let's take a look at this MSNBC segment. Let's see what Ari Melber says.
Since then, the feds are looking at the involvement of a very controversial right-wing group, Project Veritas. They have been caught up in scandal, lies, deception. They say they're just doing a new school, hardball style of media or journalism. Others say differently.
The conservative group Project Veritas,
which attempts to discredit liberal groups and news publications by using selectively edited covert video recordings.
Founded by James O'Keefe,
the guerrilla journalist has already stirred up a lot of controversy.
A man who once pled guilty in a money laundering scheme.
There it is, Rachel Maddow saying a man who once pled guilty to a money laundering scheme, except Rachel Maddow and that editor was trying to be creative there in creating a kind of continuous run-on sentence of all these quotes. But Rachel Maddow in that segment wasn't referring to me. She was referring to someone completely different.
Federal prosecutors and FBI agents are investigating whether there was a criminal conspiracy among a handful of individuals to steal and publish the diary. Those being scrutinized involved current and former operatives for the conservative group Project Veritas, a donor who Mr. Trump appointed to a political position in the final days of his administration, also a man who once pled guilty in a money laundering scheme.
Some might even call this edit a deceptive edit. Ari Melber also saying in the beginning of that segment that we are Project Veritas lies and deception.
They have been caught up in scandal, lies, deception.
There is Ari Melber and MSNBC engaging in the very lies and deceptions he accuses us of. Is it malice? I don't know. So for someone like that to say that I'm deceptive and engage in malicious deceptions and I'm controversial, notice that line from Ari Melber.
Since then, the feds are looking at the involvement of a very controversial right-wing group.
So we reached out to MSNBC for a request for a correction. And they printed one. And I'm going to read it. This is on Twitter from The Beat with Ari Melber on MSNBC. Clarification, our August 29th, 2022 report on the controversy about Project Veritas' purchase of Ashley Biden's diary included a short clip from 2021 that mentioned, quote, a man who once pleaded guilty in a money laundering scheme. Quote, that clip was referring to Robert Kurlander, who on August 25th pled guilty to charges connected to theft of diary, and not to Project Veritas and James O'Keefe. To report that someone is a felon when they're not, to accuse someone of being a criminal when they're not, and then to say that the person they're accusing is deceptive when you're engaging in the deceptions, I mean, this is just everything wrong with our media. Reminds me of the Dan Borstenline, former Librarian of Congress, in the book called The Image, where he said, the hotel is distinguished because we say it is. The media says these things about us, therefore they must be true because they keep repeating them endlessly. Maybe Ari Melber need to step away from the teleprompter and leave the air-conditioned studio from your fancy New York City place and go out in the field and actually, I don't know, break a big story. I don't know, go to Cobb, Connecticut with cameras and microphones and report on what is going on in the country, because this stuff is just pig's blood. This is just trash. This has nothing to do with any type of journalism that I'm aware of. Here we have the images of us at a press conference yesterday. It was very hot outside, no air conditioning there. But at least we were talking to parents, and here's the Attorney General of Connecticut responding to our story. launching a civil rights inquiry. I mean, you guys should go out and break some stories. I mean, I don't have the money that you have, and we're still able to do the work. So I say, join us. Do journalism instead of attacking the people that are doing journalism. And Ari Melber, all this could have been avoided if you just stuck to the facts. If you just did your job. But instead, we're going to send you a care package, and your retraction shall hang on the wall of shame. Amongst all the other corrections.
Protection.